What's up, guys? Welcome back to Whisper Tactical. My name's John, and guess what? The judge just vacated the preliminary injunction that Rare Breed had on Big Daddy Unlimited, and yeah, so they can now go back to selling the Watt triggers. This is big news. So I was just given some now public records, but anyway, I was given a couple documents. Immediately, as soon as this was done, I got the documents. As soon as I got the documents, I got a hold of Reno May. I talked to him about it for a little bit and then sent him the documents. I think he read over them, so he said he was going to try to get... Okay, that was him. He said he's going to try to make a video on it in the morning, actually. So hopefully he can get into that. Just know, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not a news channel. I shoot guns on camera. I don't do this because I don't know how to make this picture on the screen while I'm talking so you can read it with me. He'll be able to do that, but I'm going to read you this. I want you to hear this. Let's get into this. I'm going to read this and then go back to bed. This is a patent infringement case. The plaintiffs obtained a preliminary injunction on December the 30th, 2021. The deadline for the defendants to file a notice of appeal is today, Monday, January the 31st, 2022. This order vacates the preliminary injunction so that a new substantial issue can be fully addressed before the defendants file a notice of appeal. A notice that might divest this court of jurisdiction to address the new issue while the appeal is pending. The preliminary injunction began its background section as follows. The plaintiffs, ABC IP LLC, owns U.S. patent number 10,514,223, the 223 patent. The plaintiffs, Rare Breed LLC, holds the exclusive rights to sell products covered by patent EFC number 47 at 1-2. As it turns out, ABC IP owns the 223 patent, but the substantial question exists over whether Rare Breed is an exclusive licensee, a Bayer licensee, or only a buyer and seller of products covered by the patent. The order of January the 21st, 2022 directed the plaintiffs to respond to a motion to vacate by January the 28th. The plaintiffs did not do so. They did, however, respond to a separate motion to dismiss, and that response sets out the plaintiff's position on the same issue, at least in part. If upon full consideration it turns out that Rare Breed does have an exclusive license, the preliminary injunction will be reinstated, obviously. Without further analysis, though, it cannot be said that Rare Breed has shown that it is likely to prevail on the merits. So at this point, they haven't done a very good job being able to prove shit, is what that's saying. The rest of it is in quotations and stuff like that. So the rest of it cites to other lawsuits and shit like that. Reno May will do a much better job on this. Now, let me read you this part. Let's read this part. Let's go back. Boom. There we go. Now, the second document. The order of January the 21st, 2022 directed the plaintiffs to file by Friday, January the 28th, 2022, a response to the defendant's motion to vacate. Let me start that over. Sorry, I fucked that all up. The order of January the 21st of 2022 directed the plaintiffs to file by Friday, January the 28th, 2022, a response to the defendant's motion to vacate the preliminary injunction. There we go. I paused too long after the date. The plaintiffs did not file a response by that date, which means Rare Breed didn't have it in time. But they did, however, place a hard copy response with an overnight courier for delivery to the clerk's office in Gainesville, Florida on January the 31st. The plaintiffs made no electronic files. The courier delivered the response to the clerk's office on January the 31st, but the plaintiff did nothing to alert the clerk that it was time sensitive. So I don't know if they just are just killing time, if they're not taking it serious, or like what's going on, but I figured they would have just been like, you know what, here's the info, here's what you need, fucking let's shut this down, but I guess they're not doing that. But the plaintiff did nothing to alert the clerk that it was time sensitive. The clerk's standard practice is to scan hard copy filings onto the electronic docket within 24 hours after receipt, which means as soon as she gets it, she's supposed to scan it. That way it goes electronic and the judge can see it on his little tablet, because it's all electronic now, pretty much is what they're saying. An order granting the motion to vacate was entered on January the 31st before I was aware of the hard copy filing with the clerk, and before the filing made it to the electronic docket. An order granting the motion to vacate was entered on January the 31st before I was aware of the hard copy filing with the clerk, and before the filing made it to the electronic dockets, which means it wasn't there in time. That's not anyone's fault but the people sending it. But listen to this next part. As explained in the order, it was important for the order to be entered before the filing of a notice of appeal from the preliminary injunction. The judge is pretty much saying, hey, dude, it was very important that you did this, and you're wasting my fucking time, so I'm going to vacate this shit until you can prove and do this shit a little better. It's pretty much what that's saying. Now, listen to the next part. Now, having reviewed the response, no changes needed in the January the 31st order vacating the preliminary injunction. The issues noted in the order remains under review. So, now having reviewed the response, no change is needed in the January the 31st order vacating the preliminary injunction, which means the guy was like, well, they didn't get their shit in time, it's vacated. And then he was like, oh, wait a minute. It's here, we got it. Fuck it, give it to me. Let me read it. What the fuck is this? Is this some kind of a, oh, dear God. Okay, vacate it. Just go ahead and vacate it. That's not enough. I don't know what this is, but it wasn't what I wanted, pretty much. Listen to the next part. One note is in order on the substance of the response. The plaintiffs cite cases dealing with modifications of an injunction based on changed circumstances. That is not the issue here. So, yeah. The defendants do not contend circumstances. This is the part that I don't understand. I don't know if it was typed wrong or if I'm just too stupid to read it right. The defendants do not contend circumstances have changed since the injunction was issued. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm just reading it wrong or I'm just looking at it too hard. They contend the injunction was they're contending it. Okay, dear God, I'm so stupid. The defendants do not contend that circumstances have changed since the injunction was issued. Jesus. They contend that the injunction was improper based on circumstances as they existed when the injunction was entered. That's pretty much saying, hey, this is bullshit. We shouldn't have done this. Like, this should have never happened. We need to be able to sell our triggers, and now they're allowed to sell their triggers. So you can buy Watts again. Anyway, let's go on to here. Listen to this last part, though. Even a final judgment may be modified based on newly discovered evidence, because it's going to remain open, obviously. If, on the merits, the preliminary injunction was properly entered, then it will be reinstated. And that's a fucking given, right? But listen, if not, then not. The object of the endeavor is to get it right. Literally, the last sentence, the object of the endeavor is to get it right. So, he's saying, you came to me with this. It was legit. You know, we're going to go ahead and just by looking at them side by side, we're going to say that this is a blatant knockoff of the rare breed. We're going to go into a preliminary injunction. But I can't just take your word for it by me looking at this and doing this. I need documentation. I need you to have the documentation sent in by so-and-so date. Well, it was late. It came in 3 days late. And it was even late, so he vacated the preliminary injunction and then decided later on that day to review it and then, fix his error by not reviewing it, earlier. But he reviewed it and was like, okay, this is still not enough. Like, why are you wasting my fucking time? The endeavor is to get this shit right so we don't have to keep playing this game. There is no more preliminary injunction. They're allowed to sell Watts. Go crazy, people. Anyway, I love you all. My video, I'm a fucking Kentucky hillbilly, man. Watch Reno May's video when he gets this shit posted. Love you all. Good night.